Why do I do it? Why? Why? The fear of love, relationships, hurt in the past. No romance ever hurt like this. It's not much fun to look into the eyes of a young widow after making it with their loved one. I'm going to start this story a little different today.
Okay.
We are going to Sacramento.
Okay.
1979, but I want to start with a celebration of life, an obituary.
Okay.
I want to describe this person's life at his funeral, the celebration of death where his whole family gets together and remember the good times. So this is the obituary, sort of, that I found on this guy. His name is John Mercure. It says John, his father, Leo. December 10th, 1979 is when he passed away. He's the beloved son of Marian Gonzalez of Sacramento and Leo Mercure. He's actually the only child of Marian, and he was 33 when he passed away. So he leaves behind a grandfather who outlives him, which is sad. But it says here, friends are invited to attend the funeral Saturday at 1 p.m. in the Citizens Mortuary Home 2301. And this is at Sacramento Memorial Lawn. That's the interment. That's the graveyard. Mm-hmm. John Mercure died December 10th, 1979. He was 33. The obituary said that there was a toxicology report scheduled, but it hadn't been done. And the thinking is that he died of a drug overdose.
Okay.
Either way, it doesn't matter. We're here to remember the good times. We're at the Sacramento Memorial Lawn. Mm-hmm. This is in Stockton Boulevard, Sacramento, California. This is it right here. This is this nice big old graveyard right there. Mm-hmm. It is about 12:30 p.m. and the body is on the way to the service. So what happens when someone is getting interred? The mortuary and like the mortuary assistants, they get up super early. They prep the body for transport, and then that's when you see the hearse. And usually people in the South pull over, which no one really does that anymore, but so at the funeral, this is December 17th, 1979. It's about 12:30. The family sees the hearse coming and everyone's in black. It's very sad, but the family, and like I said, he didn't have any siblings. He's got nieces and nephews, but that's about it. The whole family is dressed in black. They're kind of joking. They're all obviously very sad, but they're trying to remember the good times. Overall, John Mercure was a pretty good man. He rarely made enemies, not much trouble with the law, and he was loved by his extended family, right? He was young when he died at 33. His mother, Marian Gonzalez, was a little distraught because that was her only child. And like I said, it was a suspected drug overdose. Mm-hmm. He loved watching TV, and I get the sense that even though he was a drug addict, he still yearned for that long-term company to sit there and watch TV with him. 33 is just way too young. Anyway, the family is reflecting. They're going between bouts of giggling and talking about the past and then silence. They see the hearse coming to the grave site. They're all in black suits. The kids are there. The hearse pulls in almost at the gate and they're watching it. They're being respectful. And then all of a sudden they see the wheels of the hearse turn left. Mm-hmm. What's up, Alan?
What's up,
Alan?
Man? You in
Where's
Texas
he
now?
been?
He's in Texas.
Hey, Martin.
Yeah, in Texas.
Wow.
Crazy. It's been a while since we've seen you.
They're all sitting there and they have no idea what's going on. This hearse is going super slow like it's supposed to. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden it turns at the gate like it's lost. All right, that's kind of weird. It turns and there's no way it's going to make it in the gate now. Okay. It's turning. It might do a 3-point backup turn. What's going on with this thing? Did this guy in the hearse forget something? Did they forget the body?
Not going there, yeah.
Like, what is the deal? Why is the family? I mean, they just think maybe he's going to back it in.
Beep, beep, beep.
Oh,
I
shit.
mean, maybe. although this would be confusing if I was like in the, procession.
Yeah.
I'd be like, whoa, where are we going? Literally, where are we going?
Now, the entire service outside watching this hearse do crazy things is now watching in disbelief as this hearse skids out and speeds away. Now, this guy's body is in the back of this hearse. Like, what? Where are you going? What you doing? You're supposed to be here. We're supposed to bury this dude. What's going on with this, right?
What's he doing with him?
This gets the attention of, the police really quick because everyone's calling and you had the pastor there calling the cops saying, hey,
somebody just like drove off with his body.
Well, they first call the mortuary and say, what's the deal? Did y'all forget the body? Seriously? Or they say whatever. And then that's when the mortuary owner says the following. This is from the Sacramento Bee.
From the Sacramento Bee, December 1979, the reasons for the acts are unexplained at this time. It's shocking, said mortuary manager John Perriott of Memorial Lawns. We don't have any idea what happened, and anything mentioned concerning the disappearance is pure speculation.
There's an all points bulletin put out. They got to find this body. There's a body in a hearse, and it just got stolen. Did someone just jump in this hearse and steal it? Like, this body in this hearse is now nowhere to be found. Driving through.
How does that
That's
happen?
pretty crazy.
So where the hell
but
is this man that's dead in this hearse, and where's the hearse, and where's the hearse driver? Well, as you're going to see, the hearse driver is an apprentice, so maybe she got confused. Her name is Karen Greenlee, a 21-year-old apprentice, and she's the one driving the hearse on this day. The cops aren't going to be able to find this hearse for over 24 hours. They're all looking.
A lot can happen in 24 hours.
Yeah. I mean, there's a body in a casket in the back of the hearse. Mm-hmm. So what do you think's going on? Like, why? Why
given the last story we covered, I'm a little concerned about the potential nature of what somebody would want to do with a dead body.
Like sell the organs?
No, what did we do? The last case we did, the guy was sexually assaulting dead bodies.
Jesus Christ, you're freaking...
Okay, thousands he assaulted. Why would that idea be so far out of left field since that was the last case we covered?
The morgue owner knew that this 21-year-old Karen Greenlee, she just started working in August. She was working at another funeral home, but she now switched over, and she's young. This is her second job with funeral homes. And she's always been kind of a little eccentric. She's lately been, quote, exhibiting erratic behavior and working excessive hours. So maybe she's just tired and, I don't know, flipped out, had a panic attack. I don't know. Anyway, it would be over 24 hours, pushing 48 hours, before a concerned citizen spotted this 21-year-old Karen Greenlee driving this 1975 Cadillac hearse. The deputies found this hearse. So I showed you that we were at the Sacramento lawn. So you can see right here how far this is. Well, so from the Sacramento lawn, you can see how far this is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's ways away.
So it's not only ways away, but it's also way up here. Yeah, it's in a different county.
Across town.
Oh, wow.
And it's way up here in the mountains in a desolate road. This is whereabouts she was found. The hearse looked like it was just parked on the side. It was concealed, but maybe she just ran out of gas. I don't know. But it is quite a far way away for a 21-year-old to steal a hearse and drive it out to nowhere with a dead body inside. A 33-year-old dead body inside this hearse. You know, the air conditioner only works so well. I mean, eventually, things start to rot.
Yeah.
It was a very secluded spot where Deputy Carl Womack walked up to this hearse. Now, he's with two other deputies, but how hearses are, I don't know if you've ever seen one up close, but the windows are tinted black. You can't even see through them. I mean, they are limo tinted. So this deputy, Carl Womack, walks up to the car cautiously. He pulls the passenger handle. Okay, that's locked. He takes his flashlight out to try to see through that heavy black tint, even though he really couldn't. looking through the front of the glass, the front of the car, you can see that divider, that partition that's a curtain, that red curtain. If you know what a hearse looks like, it's got the red curtain you can divide it with. But he doesn't see Karen anywhere. He doesn't see, it's not a big mess in the trunk. It's not like, he didn't know what he's looking at. He walks around to the driver's side. He pulls the handle, locked again. And then he hears something, which makes him realize that Karen is inside of this hearse. He's just not seeing her. But he does wonder why the hearse is swaying back and forth. And he does hear the sound of a woman, although it's more like a moan, like a woman's moan, like a sexual moan, like a moan of she's orgasming.
See, I wasn't far off. Thank you.
Feel good about being right, or
it kind of, but also I wish I wasn't.
You kind of made it seem like a win, but she's over here obviously
I
struggling.
wish I wasn't, but I also always like being right.
The deputy knocks on the glass now because he kind of knows what's going on. He's got his flashlight and he's trying to break this glass. Karen, Miss Greenlee, Karen. The hearse is still rocking back and forth.
Oh, God.
Open the door. Open this door. No. I mean, maybe I'm adding my own shit in there.
The hearse may or may not have been rocking, so the police may or may not have come a knocking.
From the Sacramento Bee, 1979, they do get Karen Greenlee to finally unlock the door. Greenlee was taken to Sierra Nevada Memorial Hospital in Grass Valley, where she was examined in the emergency room by Dr. B.E. Sarkin. She was conscious and coherent when she was brought in. She's in good physical condition, but her mental health will be assessed by mental health personnel. Can you read the following from the Sacramento Bee?
A drawn, intense Karen Greenlee, who has confessed in her own writing to having been a necrophiliac, quietly admitted to a Sacramento Superior Court jury Friday that she climbed into coffins to have sexual contact with corpses. Under questioning by attorney Leo O'Connor, Greenlee, 23, said she had sexual contact with dead bodies in an embalming room and other locations at the Sacramento Memorial Lawn Mortuary in late 1979 while she was an apprentice embalmer. She also admitted she drank heavily in her apartment at the mortuary during her employment there.
So tonight we're talking about the story of Karen Greenlee. That's her right there, posing with a dead body.
Posing?
John, is your search history like influencing your choices again?
Brandon, so she's... I can't even repeat it.
Gosh.
Yeah, I think so.
Is she in a coffin there?
Well, she's in her zone. That's why.
The coffin is made for one.
She is.
Wait, do they make two people coffins, like a double hammock? But like.
Oh, dude, can you imagine being eternity with me? The whole time we're in the grave, I'd be like, babe. Babe, can you move your rib bone, please? It's poking me in the boner. Whatever, dude. All right.
Baby, I'm hungs. No, it would be like this. It'd be, baby, we're dead and you're stuck with me forever.
I told you I want to be cremated. I was thinking that too. This does sound like we watched the American Horror Stories, like the short ones.
Yeah.
And this like was a very similar episode.
Yeah, she's kind of famous. Mm-hmm. I mean, she didn't kill anyone. She's not in prison. She likes dead bodies. I don't know. In the hearse, when the deputies got her out and then, zipped up the victim, they found that Karen had tried to OD on codeine Tylenol. She almost succeeded, and there was a 4-page letter left in the casket. She was going to kill herself. She tried to, but they revived her, obviously. She tried to put it into her life because she knew this wasn't right. And like Lady Gaga says, you're born that way. She's born this way. Like the eHarmony commercials, get who gets you. If this dead corpse gets you, then Freaking, that would be a great commercial.
Oh my god. Speaking of Lady Gaga, a new song and video dropped tonight.
Oh, really?
Who says dropped?
Yeah,
Jen is with
A lot
it,
of people.
okay? She is with it. She has a TikTok.
we have a podcast.
All right. The felony that she was initially charged for of having sex with a dead body was dropped because at the time there was no California law against necrophilia.
Oh, it's a loophole.
Loophole.
A legal
You know what you should
loophole.
call this episode, John?
What?
You should call this episode California Love. California Love.
All right. She spent 11 days in jail, was fined a whopping $255, and had to undergo 2 years of probation.
Jen has a TikTok. I do not know if Karen Greenlee has a TikTok.
Let me put this into very clear terms for everyone. Between October 30th and November 17th, when Deputy Womack heard that unmistakable... oh, that was weird. That sounded fucking weird.
Signing out. Bye. I'm gonna leave my headphones out for a little bit.
Wait, Shram, loop that. Mate, talk murder to
that was
meme.
into my brain. I don't have the over-ear headphones, so that like was in my brain.
Talk murder to meme tomorrow. Be there.
Brandon, disco never dies. And Andolin, I do have a TikTok. I just don't post anything. I just watch TikToks and send them to people.
When the deputy came up on that limo and heard that unmistakable sound of pleasure,
Please don't do it
I'm
again.
not, but she had been working at the Memorial Lawn funeral home since October 30th. It is November 17th when she is found in the lewd act. That was 18 days of her employment. 18 days. She had admitted within those 18 days to having sex with up to 40 corpses. Going back to the mortuary owner who said that Miss Greenlee has been working, quote, excessive hours.
Overtime.
And knowing the fact that they actually gave her an apartment right above the morgue, and she had an all-access key card, she would go down several times drunk and, do her thing, man.
They're giving these key cards to the wrong people.
They should do more extensive background checks.
Can I
Also,
say something
like-
kind of like maybe controversial? If you
ahead.
work in a funeral home, if that's the job for you, you're different than everyone else.
Yeah.
You got to understand that. Most people wouldn't be caught dead working with the dead. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes it's a family business. My good friend Annie, the one who lives in Belgium, like her parents run a funeral home, so it's like it was like a family run thing. But
And
her
some
level
people
of
go into
comfort with that sort of thing is like way different than mine. Like I hate funerals. Most people do. Like I hate funerals. I hate wakes. Don't want to look at the open casket, dead body. Like I understand it might I don't want to sound like disrespectful, but it's like not for me. Don't want to go near it. Prefer not to.
Well, some people go into the field because they want to be able to provide comfort to families during the tough times and like feel like dead people also deserve to be taken care of. I guess that's especially true with this lady.
Yeah. Well, she's more taking care of herself,
Apparently, so I've been like on this necrophilia kick. Like I've been really interested lately in it.
We can tell.
Yes,
And
2 in a row. Thank you.
And apparently the Egyptians had a big problem with necrophiliacs.
I believe it.
Yeah, that's why they were so wrapped up, so to speak. But that's just like a lot of Kleenex on this freaking mummy. You know what I'm saying? Never mind. Okay, can you read, this is from the letter that was found in the casket. Can you read that?
I would like further explanation, Brandon, but when you have a moment, further.
Well, in the Rolling Stones song Brown Sugar, Mick Jagger says you can make a dead man come.
Jesus Christ, Jen, can you never, oh my God, dude.
It's
a song lyric.
It's true. It's kind of nasty, but
Brown
it's a good song.
sugar.
In a personal letter to the court, Karen Greenlee explained, I am a necrophiliac. Alcohol, scared, mixed up, lonely, unadjusted adult. My life is a nightmare. I wish I never grew up. I wish I would have killed myself in 1973. I almost did. Never could do anything right.
So this is the letter they actually found in the casket. Why do I do it? Why? Why? The fear of love, relationships, hurt in the past. No romance ever hurt like this. It's not much fun to look into the eyes of a young widow after making it with their loved one. That's fucked up.
That is so fucked up.
Keep going.
That is real effed up. It's the pits. I'm a morgue rat. This is my rat hole, perhaps my grave. You see, I died October 30th, 1979. I just haven't stopped moving yet. My spirit is dead. I killed it in the coffin of...
Judge Horace O'Connor emphasized a passage in this letter in which Karen Greenlee suggests that her aberration was known by employees of the mortuary.
I believe some here know of my problem, the letter said. It has been mentioned to a loose degree. In fact, one even knocks on the prep room door now. Says he doesn't want to catch me. I don't want to cover up.
So the other employees know, and they're actually knocking on the prep room door so they don't catch Karen banging the dead. That's a good title, Banging the Dead.
No.
Okay. So what about, so we just covered a case that's similar with a necrophiliac, and you have all these families.
Yeah.
And everyone's,
This was an 18-day span, though, not...
so 40 families. But
not decades and decades.
This was 1979, so I didn't see any other families coming out. Only the Marian Gonzalez, the mother of the dead body, John Mercure, that she had stolen the hearse from. But it was her only son. The judge said the remains of her son, John, were, quote, the only real human value in her life, end quote. However, Karen's attorneys say that she was just trying to grab a lawsuit because Marian wasn't even at that funeral, and they weren't even close anyway. They did settle. She sued for $1 million, but settled for $117,000.
From an interview with Apocalypse Culture 1987, when I wrote that letter, I was still listening to society. Everyone said necrophilia was wrong, so I must be doing something wrong. But the more people tried to convince me I was crazy, the more sure of my desires I became.
Yeah, so
she now thinks 10 years later in 1987.
Well, she's born this way.
She thinks nothing's wrong with it.
It's the same thing as the pedophile argument, right? They're born pedophilic, right?
Doesn't mean it's not a crime.
I know, but homosexuality used to be a crime. People are born homosexual.
Okay.
No, don't Kate. Give me a rebuttal.
It's a crime. I'm sorry. It is it's a mental illness, right? In the DSM or something.
The DSM
right?
no longer exists. They're doing away with that. It's a bunch of bullshit anyway. What's a crime? Pedophilia?
Yeah. And
homosexuality.
I don't know
used to
if I would agree with that statement.
Homosexuality used to be in the freaking...
Right.
Correct.
It used to be.
Correct. It did.
And that used to be a disorder. Which technically, you have to have a baseline first. Like, what is normal? All right, so if we look at the Darwin model...
It's like the acting upon it, is the problem?
No, but other species do this. We covered necrophiliac ducks, and there's other creatures that do that.
Talked about that. Yeah.
They're not wrong.
Yeah.
It's only our moral structures that we put on things. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we're also not animals. You know what I mean? Like, we're animals, but we're not. We're evolved.
We are literally just animals. There's Karen Greenlee. At 14, she was taken from school and hospitalized for emotional problems. When she was released, she found solace in sleeping next to graves in a close-by cemetery. The first job she applied for was in the mortuary in 1978, a year before this happened, North Sacramento mortuary. But she left after she had, quote, an overpowering urge to have sexual contact with corpses. So she ended up at the Sacramento Memorial Lawn mortuary and was given an apartment and a full access key card above the mortuary. From the Sacramento Bee, mortuary employees turned their back on Greenlee, allowing her to, quote, go down creaky steps at night and feed her problem, end quote. So with this episode, it's a short episode because not much else is on this. I mean, she faded from the spotlight, but she did give an interview, and it's like a 5-minute interview, and I just wanted to read it. It's from a 1979 publication. A little bit about the interview. The media, she would say, compared her to Richard Trenton Chase, the vampire killer. Her family disowned her.
One of my brothers refused to have anything to do with me. He said, I just want to remember her as she was. He came up to me later and apologized, but he still isn't comfortable around me. My other brother was more supportive, but even he had to ask, how'd you do it?
So that's a very good question, because everyone wants to know that, right? I mean, this body in this hearse, that was about 2 days when the deputy walked up. 2 days. That thing's not getting hard anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because that time has passed. So how does she do it? That's like the biggest thing, right? A little bit more before we get into the interview. Her boyfriend, when he found out, he hit her repeatedly and said, quote, he said I wasn't even a woman and I should just go fuck dead bodies. Guys that would find out that she got in trouble with this and it was really her would try and change her, try to fuck her straight, so to speak. You know, it's like if you find like a lesbian and guys are like, yeah, I'm going to make you fucking straight because my dick, you know what I'm saying? Same kind of shit. Okay. The question I am often most asked is, how does she do it?
I don't mind telling people how I do it. It doesn't matter to me, but anyone adept sexually shouldn't have to ask. People have this misconception that there has to be penetration for sexual gratification, which is bull. The most sensitive part of a woman is the front area anyway, and that's what needs to be stimulated. Besides, there's different aspects of sexual expression, touchy-feely, 69, even holding hands. That body is just lying there, but it has what it takes to make me happy. The cold, the aura of death, the smell of death, the funeral surroundings, it all contributes.
Did she say 69? Holy shit.
Sure, I find the odor of death very erotic. There are death odors and there are death odors. Now you get your body that's been floating in the bay for 2 weeks, or a burn victim that doesn't attract me much, but a freshly embalmed corpse is something else. There's also this attraction to blood. When you're on top of a body, it tends to purge blood out of its mouth when you're making passionate love. You'd have to be there, I guess.
Jesus Christ. I haven't read this yet. This is fucking nuts, dude.
I don't want to be there.
Of course, with all the AIDS going around.
That's the reason I haven't tried anything lately. I'm sure I'd have found a way to get into one of those funeral homes by now, but the group I find attractive, young men in their 20s, are the ones who are dying of AIDS.
Do you usually attend the funerals of your corpse lovers?
Yeah, it was convenient working in funeral homes. I'd get to drive out to the cemetery with the family. I'd get to mourn right along with the family at the loss of that loved one, except when I was groaning a little different tone. People can't really tell if you're grief-stricken or passion-stricken. I've had members of families put their arms around me and say, we're so glad you could come. Then I'd have to spin this big old yarn. Yeah, I knew him at school. If the guy didn't have a girlfriend in life, they think you were. Oh, she's the one.
You weren't in Sacramento at the time of the trial, were you?
No, I was working in a funeral home in another city and going to school.
Oh my God!
At the same time,
She got to work at another funeral home while she was awaiting trial. Holy titties, dude!
What?
That is nuts, dude.
She went to the funeral home and was fired for things I had done at the funeral home. Somebody, I guess, got wise of me. I know I wasn't seen. I guess this is before the internet and before electronic files and stuff.
Yeah, Jim, what's wrong?
No, I'm fine. I just I'm just trying to get into her psyche to try to figure out
why.
I don't know. It's just mind blowing.
That's the thing, man. I don't think you can. This is, if she's born like this, because we did that Nico Klaus story and he's the same way. He was born like that. He said he was born like it. So I know it's fucked up and I don't want to go back to it, but the pedophilia thing is fucking terrible, right? But, technically science says that there's
an attraction to something that they shouldn't be attracted to.
When did you first become aware of your necrophilia?
It's something I've been attracted to all my life. I used to hold funeral services for my pets when they died, had a little pet graveyard. I lived in a small town and the fireman's barbecue was next door to the funeral home. To go to the bathroom, you had to use the facilities in the funeral home. I'd find any excuse to go to that bathroom. I'd take side trips and wander around the mortuary.
Do you miss working at funeral homes?
Yes, terribly. Even if I wasn't a necrophile, I like mortuary work. I enjoy embalming and everything, except for obese people, the people I hated working on. Specifically, if they had been autopsied, their guts would slide out on the floor and all this melty fat. Yeek.
You say you were once caught in the act of necrophilia.
She says, yeah, I had tried to kill myself and was living in a halfway house a couple of blocks up from this funeral home. I decided to go to the mausoleum and try to kill myself again. The mausoleum had a door connecting to the mortuary. I was sitting there real depressed when, for the hell of it, I decided to try running my driver's license along the door and click. The door popped open. I couldn't believe it, so I tried it again and the door popped open again. I went to the prep room. There happened to be a body there. I had me some fun, did my thing, and forgot all about killing myself. The folks at the halfway house thought I stayed the night with friends. I went in there several times. Sometimes there were absolutely no bodies, so I turned back around and snuck back out.
All right, that's pretty much good.
Jesus.
She says, about a week later, I snuck back into the funeral home. I was on the prep table having a good old time when all of a sudden I felt like there was somebody nearby. Next thing I heard people walking down the hallway. I quietly jumped off the table and threw the sheet back over the body. My clothes were in quite a state of disarray and I had blood on me and everything else. Ew. It had been an autopsy case. There was a casket with the lid open in the side casket room, so I ran and hid behind it. The casket was on a church truck, so they couldn't see me, but they could see my legs. It was a man and woman. They were standing there saying, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" One of them said to the other, "You go get the gun and call the cops and I'll stay down here." And then she busted out and ran. That's crazy.
Jesus.
That's disgusting about the blood.
Yeah.
So like she says, when people say she needs to be cured, for a while, I found myself thinking, yeah, this isn't normal. Why can't I be like other people? Why doesn't the same pair of shoes fit me just right? I went through all this personal hell and realized that it's just me. That's my nature, and it is what I enjoy. I am miserable when I try to be something I'm not. So that's pretty much it for Karen Greenlee case. I thought it was kind of interesting. I don't know.
That is...
I feel like y'all didn't like that case. I don't know.
Effed.
It's just...
There's not much else to do on the case. I mean, I thought, you know...
It was a good... It was interesting.
Yeah.
And it does remind me so much of that American Horror Story episode.
Probably, yeah.
I'm sure that's where they got it from.
All
Did
right.
you watch that one,
Probably.
Jen? Do you know what we're talking about?
I don't remember the episode, but I have watched the American Horror Stories, the shorts.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Necrophilia is disgusting.
All right. So she says, I'm a morgue rat. This is my rat hole, perhaps my grave. I like that. All right. So I don't know if what she did after this.
She must have changed her name.
Probably, yeah. But that's the Karen Greenlee story. It was famous, obviously, in the 80s, but no one's heard about it now. Thought it'd be kind of interesting. I don't know.
How did you find it?
I just
From
been
the other
looking
one?
up necrophilia like crazy, you know?
Clearly.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow, some more headlines and then, some more stories and all that stuff. But if you haven't subscribed to the blog, do that because I'm putting all the old live streams on the blog and we're kind of changing things around a little bit for the new year coming up. So I'm trying to get all that stuff working just so good, just so nice. And yeah, that's all I got. So I hope you guys enjoyed. And that's all we got. So until next time, good night, you lovely, lovely people.
Kind of running this shit.